Good morning, citizens. Welcome to another episode of Objection Celebrity Court Chatter. Good morning, good morning. We haven't had a court chatter in a while, and I decided to do something different today. We're not leading with Blake. I missed all last week with Blake. Morning, Laura. How was your weekend? I hope you enjoyed it. I, for some reason, thought you were in the stream last night with Christina. We did a deep dive on the David case for the true crime. Objection Crime Chatter is back, and we ended up doing a show last night on the David case, which is both celebrity and true crime. But I shouted you out, and then Christina was like, "Oh, Laura's not here in the chat." But thank you for coming and modding this morning. I wasn't expecting that big of a crowd. I don't know how many people want to hear about Bad Bunny's Benito's woes this early in the morning, but hopefully we have a good crowd for replay crew. Oh, that's okay, Laura, because I figured that we were giving you the weekend off. Is what Christina was like. We gotta let her rest sometimes. Because if you guys don't know, Laura mods for a lot of the Blake Lively channels, so she's busy all day long, all week long. So hopefully this does well with replay crew. But you guys know me. It's my Roman empires. I had to get it out. And Benito. Oh look, there's Mildly. A couple people showing up. Benito. I'm trying to break into the Latin market. I want to do like day one of me trying to break into the Latin market, because I'm looking at where my followers are from and I want to practice my Spanish. And so this document is going to be fun because it's in Spanish. So I'm going to translate it for you guys. And yeah, so it's called Bad Bunny, Casita, and Copyright Lawsuits. Casita means house. So y'all get a little Spanish lesson this morning. And so the lawsuit that just dropped a couple days ago, like 3 days ago, it is in regards to this house that he's using on the set of his residency in Puerto Rico, which just ended on Saturday. So congrats to him for his full residency. I know tours are hard. He's going to be touring overseas here soon once he gets this little break, but maybe not that much of a break because we've got all these lawsuits, and I'm going to update you on the copyright lawsuit, the Afrobeats copyright lawsuit, as well as, remember I've been teasing you guys that I was going to do a objection edición latina with like all these juicy things that are happening. One of the ones, for those that don't know, that I was teasing was this reggaeton lawsuit that's got 100 plus. And last night when I was putting together the show, I found out Drake's in this lawsuit, Justin Bieber's in this lawsuit. It's 100 plus artists, reggaeton artists. And so you guys remember that song Despacito from Justin Bieber? That song is one of the ones. So it's basically this. They're basically saying that reggaeton was established from like a beat that is an Afro beat, and so it's kind of like this weird. Can a whole genre be copyrighted? It's so crazy. So we're gonna get into it. This is just a fun one, y'all. And even though we want to get a break from Blake, I should have put Blake in the thumbnail. She always brings in eyeballs, but maybe I'll do one. I'll change the thumbnail. But there is a Blake Lively connection. Like, it is such a small world. So we're gonna get into how Bad Bunny's lawsuits are connected to Blake Lively and Subpoena Gate. Because my jaw dropped when I was like, wait a second, what? So it's going to be a fun show. Let's go ahead and get right into it, y'all. Let me make myself small, and Blake will probably sue people for this. Lars Winnie. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. Let me get my banner. Oh, I already have it. Okay, so I have my ticker. And let's go ahead and, you guys know I always mess up on that first screen. I can never get it. Okay, here we go. And then I have to remove the picture. Okay, so let me remove this and add this to the stage. So really quick before I add that and we go over it, this is the Casita. It's a replica, and then here's the lawsuit. But that's him on stage in the Coliseo, the Coliseum in Puerto Rico, San Juan. And so this is the house, but let's get into it with this article first before I read y'all the. Okay, it says the offer that they made us was disrespectful. Don Roman's lawyer reveals failed attempt at settlement with Rimas and Bad Bunny. So we're going to get into what this is. So this was just dropped literally on Friday. It says the lawyer explains that the lawsuit was only filed after talks failed. So it says before going to court, and this is not the first time that talks have failed. He's been sued before where, there's settlement talks and then he doesn't come through and then they end up having to go to court. And we'll see the other cases. So it says before going to court, the plaintiff in the case against Bad Bunny and the companies Rimas Entertainment, Move Concerts, and A1 Productions attempted to reach an out-of-court settlement. This was revealed in an exclusive interview with El Vocero by Juan R. Davila Diaz, a legal representative of Román Carrasco, I gotta roll them R's, Carrasco Delgado, better known as Don Román. So it's Don Román is the guy's name, but it's Román Carrasco Delgado versus Benito, which is Bad Bunny's real name. Owner of La Casita in the municipality of Humacao. So that's what it's called. That little house is called La Casita. The client was always open to a fair negotiation, but the amount they offered was very low, a lack of respect, said Davila Diaz. The lawyer explained that the lawsuit was only filed after the talks failed. We made out-of-court settlement efforts with Rima's Records and Move Concerts, but we didn't reach an agreement. That's why we went to court, he stated, explaining that the case was referred to him in August of this year and that it was then that Don Roman received for the first time a copy of the digital contracts he had supposedly signed. So we're going to get into what that is, what the lawsuit and what it entails. It says he'd never seen them, and even if he did, he wouldn't be able to understand them because he has very limited education. He barely made it to second grade. He can't read or write except sign his name. They took advantage of that. What they showed him was a blank screen for him to sign, like a white screen. And that signal was then digitally transferred to documents that he never read or understood. So I don't know how this is legal or if they have proof of this or what, but $1 million claim. It says the lawsuit that was filed on September 17th in the San Juan Court of First Instance. And I was so proud of myself for finding this one because I always have to sleuth out the documents. And I thought this one was going to be really hard because it's Puerto Rican courts. And oh, it was so fun when I finally got it. I was like, yes, jackpot. So I have it, but it's in Spanish. So I'm going to translate it. It's only 6 pages, but we'll go over just the important part. So it says he's seeking $6 million broken down into $5 million for damages and mental anguish. Yeah, so it's $5 million for the damages, and then the other $1 million, I guess, is for the house and stuff. So Carrasco alleges, okay, so this is where the lawsuit comes in. Okay. This explains it all. His residence was used as the main setting for the short film Debí Tirar Más Fotos. I must take more photos. So that's the one song, and I wish I didn't get copyright because I really wanted to start the show with Debí tirar más fotos de cuando. It's one of my favorite songs of Bad Bunny. They call it DTMF for short. Anyways, without valid consent or fair compensation. So his house appears, and we'll get into the little short film and where his house appears. He also accuses the defendants of taking measurements and photographs of his home, both exterior and interior, including the kitchen, to replicate an exact version of the Jose Miguel Agrelo Coliseum in Puerto Rico. So they first, a location scout goes and is like, hey, can we use your house? Blah, blah, blah. And then later they come back in and they measure it out so that they can do an exact replica for inside the Coliseum, where the concert series No Me Quiero Ir de Aquí, I Don't Want to Go From Here, was presented. According to the complaint, the use of La Casita not only generated millions of dollars in profits on digital platforms, but with more than 22 million views on YouTube, it also turned Don Roman's home into an impromptu tourist spot. So they're like, they wanted to go to the actual house because these people are going to the concert in Puerto Rico, and now they want to go to the actual house. Dozens of people come every day just to take photos and videos in front of his residence, disturbing his peace and privacy, Davila emphasized. Despite the filing of the lawsuit, the lawyer emphasized that his client is not seeking to harm the artist. He does not want to harm Bad Bunny, which is so ironic because like, I mean, you're suing somebody. That's always harm. He wants him to still continue his global success, but all he's asking for is what's fair. He reiterated, also confirming that the doors to dialogue will remain open with the defendants' companies. The lawsuit arises amid the release of Bad Bunny's sixth album, Debí Tirar Más Fotos, DTMF, accompanied by a 13-minute short film of the same name, in which he made his debut as a writer and director alongside filmmaker Ari Manuel Cruz. The piece, starring Jacobo Morales, reflects on the social and cultural transformation of Puerto Rico. And then this is not his first multi-million-dollar lawsuit. In 2023, his ex-partner, which was his girlfriend, won a legal victory after suing the artist for the unauthorized use of her voice in several of his productions. So I believe she either left a voicemail or like he had recordings of her and then he used it in the music, and she sued him, but he ended up just settling and giving her the $40 million. So he's already paid out $40 million. 5 or 6 million is not 40 million. I looked up his net worth and it's 50 million. So let me pull up the actual lawsuit. Oh, here it is. Okay. So here it is. It's in Spanish, y'all. So I'm not gonna make y'all read Spanish, but I'm gonna translate a couple of the parts. So he starts off identifying himself, where he lives, and then here's where he names the defendants, which is Rimas Entertainment LLC, Move Concerts PR, A1 Productions, Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio, better known as Bad Bunny. So then here's where he gets into the allegations. He's saying that the house was constructed and designed by Don Román and his brother in the 1960s. So he owns this house and he built it and designed it. This house in turn was used by Rimas Entertainment and Move Concerts without basically any compensation to him, because he does get compensated, but he only gets 2 payments that add up to $5,200. And he goes on to say, okay, there's a location scout right here. He says it in English, location scout. I guess you can't translate that into Spanish, but it says, there's a location scout who comes out and basically asks him, can he use the house? This was in November of 2024. And then it says the motive that they were giving him is that they wanted to use it for the outside. They wanted to film the outside of it for their film. And so he gave them permission to do that. But they did not explain any other details about like what it was going to be used for, or give him a digital contract that he could like look over or anything. It says he never knew like how exactly it was going to be used or for what, or he just gave consent, I guess. It says initially, right after they asked him, laborers came in to clean up the house on the outside and all that stuff, and he filmed between the 27th to the 3rd of December. The house was filmed, and the principal actor was Jacob Morales. And so he still was like, and then he's like, and I still didn't know what it was for. So every time he'd ask about like details or all that, they're just like, you don't need to know the details, just sign in a blanco, a blank screen on the cell phone. That's what he's saying that happened, that he just had to sign a blank screen and they're like, just sign this, which I don't know, accountability a little bit, because it's like, yeah, you don't know how to read or write, but do you know somebody who can read or write that can help you? Or like maybe he's old, he's 80 years old. So so it says that he couldn't read it, and then here's the 2 payments, $2,400 and then another one for $2,800. So these are what he's referring to as the contracts, which he never read because it was just a blank screen, he's saying. So then he finds the YouTube video and sees that it was used for that, and he sees that it's getting 22 million views. Not only that, but he ends up using the house for other, like, basically his whole album is called DTMF or whatever. So he uses it for all the other songs in the album. So let me see if I can pull it up real quick. But if you look here, all the thumbnails, all these thumbnails, there's the house. There's the house. So he's saying, look, this one has 34 million views. This one has 28 million views. And so he's saying like each one of these is a representation of his house that he's not getting compensation for. So not only is it in the main movie over here, I don't know if you guys can see over here in this little corner here. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Can I make it bigger here? Okay, yeah, I think I can. There we go. But there's the house. So it looks like it's like somewhere in like the middle of the grass, or I don't know if they just photoshopped it in there, if that's where it's actually at, but that's his house right there. It's a little cute pink house with yellow trim, and it looks like a little rocking chair or something outside. See if I can make it bigger. Oh, that's his car. So that's his car right there. But yeah, so that's the little house that he's fighting over. So he goes on to basically say that it's been the principal house for his concert, Coliseo de Puerto Rico, in the Coliseum. And he's saying that it was streamed through Amazon Prime, and that was on Saturday. Saturday it was streamed. And so then he's saying, what about all the revenue there? Because it was in the likeness of my home. They created an exact replica, and we'll get into the architecture digest of that. And so he's saying the cause of action number one is unjust enrichment. So he's saying, that's $5 million that he's asking for that. And then emotional damages, he's asking for the 1 million for emotional damages. So this is the whole document. I linked it in the description. You guys can always save the doc and put it into ChatGPT if you want it translated or whatever. But I was really proud that I got a hold of this one because it was a hard one to get a hold of. And I found it. When I found it, I was like, oh my God, I got it. So, because, sometimes you'll read it on MSN or like, regular media, and it's not like exactly the same, but there was a couple Easter eggs. Cute house and great location. Yes, it is. It's a super cute house. I feel like they just need to compensate him and be done with it. Okay, so let's continue with the next one as let me see, because I'm Xing him out as I go so I don't freeze up. Okay, so this is basically Puerto Rican homeowner sues Bad Bunny over the use of his iconic video. So it's pretty much saying kind of the same thing, but there's an Easter egg here because it says a hangout for the famous. So apparently at his concerts, he gets all these celebrities to go in there, and it's like kind of like a surprise, like who's going to be the next celebrity who's inside the house. LeBron James was in there, Penelope Cruz, Belinda, who's a Spanish singer, and so the real life-size model is nicknamed La Casita, and it gets all these celebrities in there. So that was another part of the lawsuit where he's saying the main stage for Bad Bunny's concert where a host of world-class artists have performed. So they're like, these celebrities are also using the likeness of it. And I don't know if he's going to like spread the lawsuit because who took a picture of it? Who am I thinking about? Someone was just there taking a picture of it. Is that? No, it's not down here. I forget who it was, but there was a girl that was just there and she posted it to her Instagram. She's a famous, I'm trying to think who it was. I can't remember. But I wonder if he's going to sue them too. But basically he's saying like now these artists are making, money or like, putting the likeness of my home onto their platforms. So it says the home was built by hand. So this is one of the little tidbits in there that said, or not, that wasn't in there. He told this to the Associated Press on the phone. It said he had never built a home before, but he got help from his father and his brother, who were both carpenters. It said, I saw her in my mind and my brother began to doodle. So he refers to the house as her. It says that he designed it after his wife said she wanted to return to her hometown of Humacao. It says a house with a porch is not feasible. It's he said, adding that it's the perfect place, or a house without a porch is not feasible. It's the perfect place to visit with friends and tell them, hey, pull up a chair, let's talk here. He said, if it's hot, there's a small hammock hanging nearby, and it took him and his family about 4 to 5 years to build. We went block by block. When asked if it was a surprise for his wife, he said she was helping. So the lawsuit notes that Carrasco authorized a scout to use the house in the video, although he had no detailed knowledge of the form and manner in which the casita would be used. These officials fraudulently digitally transferred my signature to 2 other different contracts that he supposedly never saw. Initially, these contracts were not delivered until they asked for them. So now the lawyers have them. And he didn't have an ability to read and stuff. So, anyways, it says some of the same stuff there. But yeah, so that's the lawsuit that he's facing. Let me see if there's more. I'm already freezing up. I got the wheel of death, y'all. I don't know if it's this video. Let me just let's show you the cute little house one more time before I shut this window down. There's the cute little pink house, La Casita. So let me X out. That might be why I'm freezing, is that video. I'm trying to X out of all these other tabs so that way I don't freeze up. But yeah, I keep getting the wheel of death. So hopefully I can get through this. Okay, here we go. So this is architectural design. It could be this tab too. But yeah, they were featured. A Puerto Rican design team literally moved mountains for Bad Bunny's residency in Puerto Rico. So it's got a lot of other sets that they were building. But in here, creating mountains. They talk about building the house, which I thought was really cool. Yeah, this one might be the one that's freezing up everything. Yes, in creating La Casita, Magruder and Rosa aspired to do more than imitate a house at a concert-friendly scale. They wanted to evoke a sentimentality in those who call Puerto Rico their home. Many people are saying it reminds them of their grandparents' house or the house they grew up in. It plays on nostalgia and memories and all the happiness those memories bring. And so that's why everyone who was going to the concert wanted to take pictures in front of it, because it's nostalgia marketing that's really big right now. They managed to achieve an equally sturdy look from metal, wood, and foam. So it's not actually built from concrete or cement. La Casita's pink exterior and patio furniture charmed audiences, but its roof stole the show. It's a flat gray surface that stood devoid of decorations except for an air conditioner condenser that could have been plucked straight from the 1980s. Midway through every show, Bad Bunny climbed on top to perform hits like EO, the backtrack to his Calvin Klein underwear ad, and suddenly an unassuming concrete-like slab became the center of attention within an arena full of spectacle. When you arrive and you see La Casita, if you're in the higher seats, what you see is the roof. We needed people to see the roof and say, wow, that's the roof on my house. Or, hey, that needs a pressure wash. It's dirty looking. According to Rosa, the request for a dingy looking roof came from Bad Bunny himself. So he wanted to give it that nostalgia, dirty roof look. So that's the story behind La Casita. And we're going to move into his other lawsuit. So that's his latest lawsuit. The next lawsuit is he's also being sued for. So let me know what you guys think if you're part of Replay Crew or whatever, or if you're in the chat. Yeah, she's saying, oh, that's beautiful. A $40 million voicemail. I think it was a voicemail, Miley. I'm not sure if it was or not, but it was some kind of like her voice, or I'm pretty sure it was a voice message. And he uses it in one of the songs, but yeah, it is a pretty expensive one. But I think it's also because they broke up and there was that one was kind of like Blake Lively-ish, like vengefulness type of thing, in my opinion, allegedly. Okay, so anyways, with the old man one, I feel like, I mean, they should pay the old man something. I don't know if $6 million, but I mean, if he's making all this revenue off of the casita and like using it for promotional materials, I feel like he should just settle and just pay him the $6 million if he can afford it. If he's worth $50 million, I mean, $6 million is a lot, but maybe come to a settlement and give him $3 million, something. I don't know, but he seems open to settling. So let me pull up this one. So we're going to go into the next lawsuit, which is the Afrobeats lawsuit. So this is also copyright. And remember, his girlfriend, his ex's was copyright too. So this is copyright. So this was back in 2023. Afrobeat star Mr. Easy accused Bad Bunny of appropriating an African artist's song without credit. And so he basically is saying that Enséñame a Bailar, which is one of his songs, took took the beats from one of the songs by, I believe it's Joe Joe Boy, Nigerian artist Joe Boy, along with sampled vocals from it. But Mr. Easy, who discovered Joe Boy, said he hasn't been properly credited or compensated. So basically, this article just says that he went and tried to tell him, like, hey, you know what? Can you compensate me? Clearing samples, it's not rocket science, says an expert. It is detail oriented, time consuming, tedious process. He said those talks usually happen over email and entail specific contract negotiations. I expect this one will be resolved quietly and without a big public stink. Well, that did not happen. So this was in 2023 because just a couple months ago, May 9th, 2025, Bad Bunny is finally facing lawsuit over uncleared Afrobeat sample. So he ends up suing Bad Bunny, and this one I don't have linked because I paid a couple bucks for this one on Pacer because only Pacer had it. And I'm trying to figure out how to get it so where like I can share the link to other people. So I don't know if I have to download it and create my own link. But that's the only one that I didn't link. But we'll take a quick look at them. So it's called Empawa versus um, Benito. So Benito, this is a whole other. So this is the amended complaint that I got, and I think initially Apple Music wasn't in it. It was just Benito, but then he's trying to go after Spotify, Apple Music, so anywhere that the song was recorded. And so he's basically saying that it starts off with it's not very often that a musical artist of Bad Bunny's caliber uses someone else's music without permission and then ignores the person's effort to try to resolve the problem. Such a response is especially surprising when the unauthorized user pervades the entirety of the musical artist's work. Unfortunately, these are the circumstances here. So this is where the Easter egg comes because lo and behold, as I'm going through this amended lawsuit, what do I end up seeing? Who is this? We used to joke about it was Moses' granddaughter. It's Sarah Moses, Manat Phelps and Phillips, Miss Subpoena Gate herself, Blake Lively, when she did Subpoena Gate, Sarah Moses was when she subpoenaed the content creators, Sarah Moses was the go-to contact for that. And here she is, Manat Phelps and Phillips, representing this African Afrobeats music. It's called Empawa Africa Music Service Limited. And Chidera Godfrey, which is the producer of Joe Boy's song, I believe. And they want him to credit him, and then they're also asking for no less than 25 million. So 25, who's doing the math? Who's got the calculator? 25 plus 6, we're at 31 million. He's already dished out 40 million. He's only worth 50 million, but I don't know if this is, look at all these defendants. He's asking it from all of these defendants. So you have Apple Music, which I'm sure that's a drop in the bucket for them, and then UMG, Universal Music. But yeah, so I think I got this image. This is me. I was like, Manat Phillips, Sarah Moses, I know you. I know who that is. So that's the little cool Blake Lively Easter egg on that one. And then I did download the answer because I wanted to see, like, Benito, how are you going to answer to that? So Benito is being represented. He switched lawyers so many times. Let me see in this one. He filed this answer. So yeah, he already had Jeffrey Goldman. He used to have another lady, but he switched lawyers. And we'll look at the docket really quick. But yeah, he's basically saying that he denies that it caused the plaintiff any suffering or harm. Responses. So it says to the extent the allegations, he's basically just saying that it was an original work. he denies the allegations. Where is it where he gets into the nitty-gritty jurisdiction right here. Uh Ocasio admits that the orchard was authorized to distribute Enséñame a Bailar worldwide. He is with sufficient knowledge to not admit or deny whether um these allegations. So he's basically denying that it was original works. Let's see. Ocasio admits that copyright. So he's just without sufficient knowledge. So I don't know if he's just passing the buck or what, but all of his answers are just without sufficient knowledge to admit or deny the Empty My Pocket composition is an original work of authorship. So he's just denying everything. I saw Live Nation in there somewhere. So, anyways, um, here's the docket. Here's where we stand right now. September 11th was the last thing, and it has been referred to Magistrate Judge Jean P. Rosenblatt for settlement conference. So this one might get settled, folks, because there's a lot of people involved. And so the last that we've heard is that the trial is set for January 26, 2027. So 2 more years. So remember, he started settlement talks with him in 2023. And then 2025, he files the lawsuit. And now trial's not going to be till 2027. There was supposed to be a hearing on that. And that also got moved, the hearing on his answer for that. So I will try and link the docket because I think I might be able to link at least the docket. But here's the docket, and it's a lot. Because you have Apple Inc. filing responses. Like y'all thought the Blake Lively one was crazy. So this is his other lawsuit. So now we can get into I had this little link of Lizzo, because Lizzo was just saying about how having copyright and all that is um like racially charged because hip hop was born from sampling. And so this is a little article that just dropped also on Thursday or Friday. She was on this podcast with Gilly, which if you know the Eagles, Gilly's the guy who does the blow the whistle song. But anyway, she was on their podcast and she says that the first time people started sampling, who sampled? It was rappers in the 80s and 90s. They were sampling records because they didn't have access to big studios. They didn't grow up learning how to play bass and stuff like that. They created the genre of hip hop through sampling records in their parents' vinyls and stuff. And so she's basically saying like the fact that so here's Gilly the kid over here on the right. And I lost connection to audio. Yes, it is giving Vanilla Ice versus Queen. It's not that itty bitty thing. Uh, why do you love me? What did I say that you love me for? Um, don't steal shit from other people and then not credit compensate them. Exactly. I don't know, but I have different like feelings. So for this one, like just because they're represented by Manat, I'm kind of like team I automatically became team the Leo meme. I was really like, it's you, it's Sarah Moses. Because our big joke when all my friends were getting subpoenaed, I was just like, it's Moses's granddaughter, great granddaughter. It's just like a joke. But yeah, that was really cheeky. So here's Lizzo, and this is just like a little side quest. I think we have a couple minutes to just do the side quest. But this article that wasn't written by mainstream media, it's written by Music Radar. They went in on Lizzo. They were just like, yeah, Lizzo is she got the name wrong after mistakenly citing Sir Mix-a-Lot as the first rapper to get sued for copyright. She was actually thinking of Biz Markie. But then if you look at the People article, it makes it out like so nice. Like it was just so funny because I pulled up both articles because I was just like the difference on how they reported it. And then I watched the video. But anyways, she's basically just saying, like, it is what it is. Hip hop's medium has always been sampling. Like, why should you have to pay for it? And it says Gilly the Kid and Wallow did not give her any pushback. She's saying the origin of sampling laws were racially motivated to me because it was policing Black art. So Black artists could no longer, because it basically was like they could not afford producers and beats and things to make beats. So they would just go and sample their parents' records to make music. And that's one of the things I love about hip hop is like the old school sampling. Um, it's one of my favorite things about Kanye. He does it so beautifully. He's great, and he's had a lot of lawsuits for his sampling. And I think it takes a really long time, and artists get frustrated. I mean, I see both sides. So she was sued for a song for $750,000, and she's also currently getting sued. She's got two other lawsuits from her people. But anyways, that was just a little side quest that was also an article that came out about copyright lawsuits, in her opinion, that it's now sampling is synonymous with theft. You stole it. It's not like, oh, it's a work of art, like let's all share it, which I get, because I don't know, at some point I do get it, but other times I'm like, she's kind of right, like Sam. Oh, so I was gonna play the video, but I don't, my audio went out. I just got the little notification, so um I can't do that. But anyways, which is funny that Benito is, now saying like, oh, I don't know, because he sued a guy, Eric Guillermo Madronal, back in, so this one is from March of last year. He sued him for bootlegging and copyright infringement, because basically this guy went to one of his concerts and recorded the whole concert and then uploaded it to YouTube. And it's saying using the Bad Bunny trademark. I don't know if it was just the Bad Bunny face or what, but um so here's all the songs or whatever that were registered, and then here's the list of all the YouTube videos. And so he just uploaded from beginning to end the concert live musical performance. And anyways, this lawsuit ended up going away because the guy just ended up taking him down. So basically he got copyrighted by YouTube, and then he filed an appeal. And then when he filed the appeal, YouTube told Benito, like, unless you give me like a actual lawsuit, I can't force him to take it down, which I thought was really interesting. And so then that's why he had to sue. And so then once he had this, then he was forced to take him down, and then it was moot. So I don't know. To me, that was a whole waste of money. But I'm like, come on, Benito, like you were the one suing someone for copyright. Get with it. But on that one, just by principle alone, that Manat's representing him, and Sarah Moses, who couldn't pick up the phone to say whether or not the subpoenas were real or not. I kind of want Benito to win that one. And so now we're down to our last one, which I've been looking so forward to this one. And I probably won't do it justice, but if it does end up going to trial, I feel like we should do a docket deep dive. Because it's beyond a morning one. Because this one is so interesting. If you guys are like music files, like I am, where I absolutely love music. I wish that we didn't get copyrighted on YouTube, so I could play like stuff, like musical clips. Yesterday on the David one, I played one of his videos, and I was like, I don't want to get copyrighted, so I'm not going to play the sound. And ask me why UMG still copyrighted me for just the image. Like, how the heck? I guess the AI is just getting so good that it realized I was playing the video. And I only played a small portion of it that someone snipped on Reddit. And yeah, my video was demonetized and copyright. So I'm trying to, I guess, remove that snippet. I don't know if it worked. It said it would take hours or something. That was yesterday, so I don't know if it worked, but can you copyright a genre? A lawsuit's potential impact on reggaeton music. So this is the one that I said was really cool. It says in January 2025, the reggaeton musical artist Bad Bunny released his newest album, Debí Tirar Más Fotos, to critical and fan acclaim. The album quickly rose to #1 on the Billboard 200. Bad Bunny's fourth consecutive album to do so, further cementing reggaeton as one of the most popular musical genres in the world. So right now, reggaeton is popping. However, the genre of reggaeton is now facing a copyright claim that could forever alter the genre as we know it and many of its greatest artists. In a pivotal legal development, the estates of Jamaican producers Clevie Brown and Wycliffe Steely Johnson have initiated a lawsuit alleging that over 1,800 reggaeton tracks have unlawfully incorporated their 1980 instrumental Fish Market. This track is credited with introducing the dembow rhythm, a foundational rhythm in reggaeton music. The lawsuit filed in 2023 targets numerous prominent reggaeton artists, including Bad Bunny, Daddy Yankee, J Balvin. I mean, when you look at this list, it's hundreds. It's Rosalia. It's a who's who, and you have um, English speaking artists too. Like I said, Justin Bieber, and then I saw Drake in there. I was like, wait, what? So anyone who was experimenting with reggaeton style music, it's a who's who, like bunch of names that are recognized. The plaintiffs assert that these artists have sampled or interpolated it without proper authorization, thereby infringing on their copyright. And it initially started with this one song, and if you know, you know. Um, it's called Dame Tu Cosita. It was like so popular, I believe in like the early 2000s. It was this little lizard and it would walk around and say, Dame tu cosita, dame tu cosita. And little kids were singing it and everything. And it was like kind of like double entendre, like not very appropriate. But the initial lawsuit was actually filed in 2021. This one says 2023, but the initial lawsuit was in 2021 just for that one song. And then in 2023 was when it named all the other artists. It was like, and then it even added more artists in 2024. The list got long because in the one amended complaint, I didn't see Drake, and then I saw him in the other one, and I was like, wait, Drake's involved? So the judge did not dismiss it. In May of 2024, the judge found it plausible that Fish Market is the progenitor of derivative works and that these works capture original elements of Fish Market. So central to this case is the question of whether a rhythm can be copyrighted. Traditionally, copyright law has protected melodies and lyrics, while rhythms have been challenging to safeguard due to their fundamental role as musical building blocks. A ruling in favor of the plaintiffs could set a precedent, potentially transforming core elements of reggaeton into licensable material. The dembow rhythm has deep roots in Caribbean music, tracing back to the habanera rhythm of the 19th century. This rhythm has been integral to various genres, including Cuban contradanza. And it's funny that he says that because I immediately thought of Celia Cruz, who that's the type of music she does. Shout out to Perez Hilton's mom because she's a Celia Cruz lover. Argentine tango and Puerto Rican bomba and Haitian compa. Its pervasive presence across these styles raises question about the originality and ownership of such a widespread rhythmic pattern. As the case advances into the discovery phase, the music industry awaits its potential ramifications. A ruling in favor of the plaintiffs could compel artists to alter their production practices, possibly diminishing the centrality of the dembow rhythm in reggaeton and prompting a reevaluation of rhythm's protectability under copyright law. Conversely, a decision favoring the defendants might reinforce the notion that fundamental musical elements remain in the public domain, free for all to use. This lawsuit not only challenges legal definitions, but also prompts a deeper examination of cultural ownership, recognition, and the future trajectory of musical creativity. And so then it cites all the things. And then this is where I found the lawsuit, Brown versus Donalds. And it cited the number and everything. Courthouse News, which I love. Shout out to Courthouse News. They didn't actually have the docs, but I did find them on Court Listener. But they reported on it in May 29th of 2024 when it says reggaeton stars failed to get massive fish market copyright case thrown out. Without ruling on the merits of the infringement claims, a federal judge found that the consolidated complaint could proceed. And so here's that complaint. It's about 40 pages long. But basically, he's just saying that they can file another amended complaint if they want to, but because he did dismiss, it was granted in part and dismissed in part. So he did granted. The two motions to dismiss are denied. But he did say that they could file a third consolidated amended complaint for those two, which was contributory infringement and vicarious infringement. So those were the only ones that he dismissed, and he said, you guys can refile. But everything else is still going. All the plaintiffs are still going. And so, yeah. Let me see. So this one was just July 30th of this year. Can the Jamaican rhythm that inspired reggaeton be copyrighted? A U.S. judge will decide this fall. And so we thought that we were going to get a decision here in the fall, but that is not the case because now that I went through the docket, I'm going to give you guys an update on this because the fate of reggaeton will not be decided until later this winter. So we will not know if all these reggaeton artists are going to be liable for like money, like are they going to have to give money? And it's crazy because it's not only so look, Justin Bieber's Despacito. Oh, it's a song he did with Bad Bunny called Mia. That's why Drake's in it. DJ Snake's Taki Taki, remember? Selena and Cardi B, Taki Taki. Pitbull's We Are the One. I mean, all these names that are like recognizable. It says 160. So I'm telling you, they added 60 more because it was 100. And so they must have added the other 60. Um, UMG's named in there, Sony Music, Warner. It's just crazy. So he's saying they point to a 2005 interview where both Steely and Clevie admittedly drawing inspiration from the Poco beat of Pentecostal services. So they're saying, well, that's not original because Fish Market samples from a Poco beat. That's what they were arguing in their filings. But the lawyers for Steely and Clevie argue that the rhythm's originality lies in the individual drum sounds, which is kick, snare, hi-hat, etc. So now, Mercurial, remember you were saying this reminds me of, oh, glad you made it, Bizio. Remember you were saying that this reminded you of the Ice Ice Baby lawsuit? Where is that? Well, I can't find it. Oh, hey, Joe, welcome. We're doing Benito's lawsuits this morning. Benito's briefs, something different. And love your content. You teach me a lot. Oh, thank you. I'm always learning something here. We're learning Spanish today and we're learning about music. Because, okay, so you guys remember the Vanilla Ice, and I should have had it, but I hate that it's like copyright. Okay, so Vanilla Ice, during his lawsuit, it was like dun 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 dun. And Vanilla Ice was like, no, mine is dun 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 dun. So it was that hi-hat that's in there saying like it's different because it's like dun 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 dun, and the other one didn't have that. So yeah, this one is more like the Vanilla Ice. And hey Lisa, good morning. Glad you guys all made it. We're wrapping up with can reggaeton, like is it over for reggaeton? What is gonna happen? Um Oh, music published is your thing. Yes, and you love Drake too. So yeah, like that's what I'm saying. I'm like Drake is involved in this, and they all had separate lawyers, but they filed like a joined thing, which we'll get into here in a second. Um, how they all consolidated it, but yeah, it's super interesting, and I want to actually get into like the sound of it. So I might do a live, like if it doesn't get dismissed here, and I have more time, I want to do like a live where I don't save it, so I don't get copyrighted or whatever. But that way we can actually like listen to it and be like, okay, does it sound alike? Is it? Should it be? Um, because right now we can't. So here's the docket. It's on Court Listener. For Bizio Music is in her name. If you can go ham with this docket is very robust. And you can look into it. It's some of them you have to buy on Pacer, where it's basically saying you don't have it, but there's a lot that are there. Like download. So this is the latest, September 15th. This was just a couple days ago. In chambers, orders. There will not be a PDF document. This is a text only entry. This is basically saying that hearing that was supposed to happen September 26th in 4 days has now been moved to Friday, December 19th at 10 a.m. This hearing was supposed to decide the motion for summary judgment and all these motions to preclude all these expert witnesses. So that's the stage that they're at right now. So think about it. It's been 2 years for this. And that's why I'm like, we're so lucky with the Blake Lively case that it was only 1 year and it took only a year to get through everything because discovery. But this one is robust. I mean, it's 160 people. So, and in companies and all this other stuff. So that's the latest that we will not know. You know, we won't know what's going to happen to reggaeton until hopefully we get a good Christmas present and we get to keep reggaeton because that's one of my favorite genres. All those artists, Wisin and Yandel, and like all of that, I love it. It makes you move and like it's one of my favorites. And so anyway, so I learned what errata was too, because I was like, what is errata? That means error. So I learned that word. But this is the one where I was like, joinder. I had to look this one up. So this is another legal word we're going to learn today, joinder. So they all basically joined. Here's Benito Antonio Martinez. They all filed something to join together. So some of these people are all being represented by the same attorney. Benito was on his own until just recently when he asked for that joinder, and then he teamed up with he got the same lawyer. So that's what this is up here, I think. Substitution of lawyer and stuff. It's to include him. But anyway, so things are like crazy because there is also an offshoot of this lawsuit that I found in SDNY because Paramount Global is getting subpoenaed on this case. And so when I was trying to find the case, this popped up because it had the same case number. And right here, Brown versus Donalds. That's what this case is called. Brown versus Donalds. This is going to be a precedent setting case either way, whichever way it goes. Either reggaeton's going to live to see another day, or people are going to have to start paying if they want to make a reggaeton song. And so this is where I'm like, it's just like what Lizzo was saying. Like, they're taking the fun out of hip hop. Now they're taking the fun out of reggaeton. I mean, I get it. That's your beat, but it's like everything's inspired by something. So I don't know how I feel about it. Oh, but here's, I Googled the case number, and then this one came up, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. Why is this in New York? Because they're trying to subpoena Paramount Global, and they filed a motion to quash. And so we're also waiting on a decision for that. And the latest on that is basically that they asked was it Brown? Yeah, Brown and who's the plaintiff? They basically asked the plaintiff, like, is this thing still going? And he's like, yes. So we need to wait until that hearing. So they're going to be waiting on that September 16th hearing. So this is the latest. Is this oh wait, this is 2024. Hold on, let me just send it, because this is just a regular motion to quash. Hold on. August 11th. Here it is. So this is the status report. And so, right here. That's why I was like, where is it? Cleveland, Constantine Brown, and Clevy Productions. They're basically saying this is a status report. And he's saying, like, yes, this is the party submit this, that the case is still under briefing over there in California. And so we're just going to wait. So that's a little side quest there. And like I said, the whole docket is there. Court listener, the link is in the description. You guys can go at it. I pulled up Bad Bunny's reply. Here's where the hearing date was supposed to be September 26th, but not anymore because now they just moved it to December. So more waiting. But he's basically saying that more than minimal creativity is required for a rhythm to be protectable. And plaintiff's reading of the scope of this phase would render it a meaningless exercise. So this is his answer. And I'm still going through all the docs. I'm not going to say I'm an expert at it, but they argue what is protectable under copyright law, why the rhythm shouldn't be protected under copyright law. And so you guys can go and read that. And then this is what I found, like, the music nerd in me was like, be still my heart. Cause I took music appreciation, and like, I love like reading music. It's like one of my like favorite things to do. And so here you can see the rhythm. It's called the pounder rhythm. And it was really cool to like see, cause I haven't seen music notes in a while. And I was like, oh my God, this is cool. So they put this is a 167 page lawsuit. Obviously I haven't read it all because a lot of it, I found it yesterday. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. So like when I was sick, this was another of the cases that I was looking into, was the David one and then this one, but I hadn't found this one. I was like, I might as well just put it all together because I was gonna wait and do this one separate. But and so it shows the snare, the hi-hat, the tambourine, everything there. So that's the song Fish Market. And then this is the pounder rhythm. And so they're comparing it, and then this is where they say all of the songs, Dame tu cosita, Despacito. Let me see if I know Gasolina, Dame más gasolina. Da-na-na. You know, that one is big. And so it talks about all the different songs that they're trying to say that was copyrighted or whatever, but it's 167 pages. Obviously, we're not going over that. Benito's briefs this morning. I was like, I don't know how many people are going to be interested in Benito's briefs this early in the morning, but we have a nice little crowd here. Snow, yes. Oh, I love that. The white Canadian Jamaican, but not really. I love Snow's music. I didn't see her on there, but I'll look out for her. Um, this was a lot of Latino artists, and so you know how she was saying there was racial elements to the hip hop lawsuits. I thought to myself about how it could. Yes, I do like classical music as well. Bamps, Danielle Chubani. Okay, Daniel Ciobano. Okay, I will. I'll definitely. Yes, I do. I love classical music. I just love music in general. I like. Right now, I'm in my Christian music era. That's mostly what I listen to. But I love hip hop, rap, Christian rap, and just all kinds of genres, alt, lo-fi, just anything, even metal sometimes. But yeah, most recently that's what I listen to. But I just like music in general. Uh, Apple Plus has a documentary with the Beastie Boys. The Beastie Boys story. Okay, super fascinating and sweet documentary. Okay, cool. Yeah, I really like the Beastie Boys. I kind of grew up with them, and then let's see what else is everybody else saying as we wrap up here. All Joe, all the girls in my college are grinding to that Gasolina song. It seemed like 100 years ago. I love that. Vamps is saying that classical he composed a ballet for a ballet group. It's going to be on stage end of October. I also love ballet. That is also one of the things. Oh yeah, I'm thinking about Snow the Product. Yep. Love her. Woke is probably my fave. Yep. I was talking about Snow the Informer. Oh, I thought you mentioned Caribbean music. Um, no, they're saying that was the Afrobeats one that I was the lawsuit before that. This one, I don't know if it mentioned Caribbean. Oh, because they were arguing that it's also used in. Yes, I did mention it when I was talking about Celia Cruz and the Caribbean music. But I'll have to look up. I love that you knew who Snow the Product was. Snow the Informer. I'll have to look that up because I've never seen. Um, Bizio says I listen to all genres. They kind of depend on my moods and what I want. Need to vibe with it. Eclectic. Yeah, there's all kinds of cool music out there. Like there was a point where I was just like super into Frank Ocean, and I used to love going to festivals, Coachella, and all kinds of music festivals were my thing because I like to discover like little niche bands and things like that. Um, isn't it more of a genre of music? How can you copyright a genre? Yes, Lisa, that's exactly what this is trying to set precedents. Um, and so this is one of the experts that they're trying to hide is this guy, and the defendants are basically saying like he is not a musicologist, he is just a friend. It says Peter Ashburn Furman is not a musicologist, nor is he impartial because he is friends with Steely and Clevey. And so this is like a little juicy tidbit that it's 32 pages long. I haven't gone through all of it, but like I said, the whole docket is down in the description if y'all want to take an afternoon and read it. If y'all are music nerds like that and are into reggaeton and want to see like what's going on. But I thought I was like, oh my gosh, T, because he's like, turns out they're friends. And so I kind of read a little bit on that, but yeah, I thought it was interesting that they were trying to get musicologists to like analyze the beats and all that stuff. And then finally, that's the end of that. What's next for Bad Bunny? Well, he is actually, you can't find any info on his lawsuits because all that's being talked about is his residency that just went over, him helping Puerto Rico. He actually injected 250 million into Puerto Rico by having his residency there. And then this, which is he leads the 2025 Latin Grammy nominations, which also dropped. So that lawsuit dropped on the 17th at the same time as this, and it's nowhere to be found. The only reason why I know that it exists is because I go and seek celebrity legal news. Like when I was sick, that's basically all I was doing was like, well, what else is there? And just looking stuff up. So I'm a super sleuth when it comes to that. And that's how I found it. But I believe only People reported it. No, none of the other mainstream people reported it. It was not because it was filed in Puerto Rico, the Casita lawsuit. And these other lawsuits are older, and so no one's really keeping track of them. But yeah, these are his 3. So he's facing 3 current lawsuits right now. And so it's saying he leads the 2025 Latin Grammy nominations. And one thing that I found interesting that it says here is that they kind of were like throwing him a bone because he's in a category for roots. Because it's the album Debí Tirar Más Fotos is like inspired by Puerto Rico and like all that stuff. And so they nominated him in the roots category. Where is it? This is talking about the other artists. Where is it? I remember at one point, I read that they were one of the categories that he's not, but he's nominated for Record of the Year and Album of the Year. So, yeah, we'll have to see what's going on with him. And then coming up next, this Saturday, he will be hosting the SNL first episode, which I'm kind of over SNL, but this little cutie is going to be on there. I love her, Sabrina Carpenter. She's going to host the following, or October 18th. But he's going to be premiering on October 4th with Doja Cat as musical guest. And so that's where you can catch up with Bad Bunny. He's still got to work. He's got to work to pay off these lawsuits, I guess. I don't know if his, labels are going to help him with this or what. But I had a fun time hanging out with you guys this morning. Yes, it wasn't Blake. And, I'm sure that if I had put Blake in the thumbnail, we would have had a bigger crowd. But I love that the people who are here. And it is best for internet deep dives. Yes. Oh, Grok. Yes. Let's see what else are you guys saying? Hey Jane, we are finishing up. Thank you for showing up. You were on last night with the David stuff, and there was a comment that you had left that I was like, oh, I wish I could talk to her about it. I don't remember what it was now, but yeah, if you guys haven't checked out the David show, that was a really cool show last night. We went in. I love that it's not BL, Bizio says. But we had that little BL Easter egg in there that Manat Phillips is representing the guy against them for the Afrobeats. It's okay, Jane. It's Monday. I got a case of the Mondays. It kind of okay. So yeah, we went through all the questions. So no, that's okay, Jane, if you're late. So that's the Bad Bunny of it all. Here he is in the house, and there's the lawsuit. I just love this image. It's just him standing in front of the house in his little suit. And like I said, yeah, I'm just like a Bad Bunny stan. So I like his music. It's very danceable. I hope the reggaeton one. So you guys can, if you're part of Replay Crew, drop in the comments, or when we leave here, it does help the algorithm. If you guys can drop a quick comment or hit the like, it helps get it out there into the algorithm that decides. But I think that the algorithm probably didn't like my thumbnail. But I was trying to be cheeky with it. And this is Benito. I love Benito. I was going to try and use more Spanish, but then I'll go back and watch. Yes, Replay Crew. But this was a picture of him, and that's a bat that he's holding. I don't know. I just thought it was really cool. And in his hand, it's kind of like he's throwing out the Bad Bunny. Like, I'm gonna overcome this and beat him down. I don't know. I just like that picture. But I had 2 other thumbnails. I actually had 4 thumbnails for this one now that I think about it. So I might change the thumbnail. So look out for that and see if maybe, because the algorithm likes big faces. His face isn't big enough. It doesn't like bodies. And this one's kind of a little blurry. The algo likes big faces, like this one, like this. So like a big face, like if it's 3 big faces. I don't know if you guys noticed that that's like on thumbnail. So, but I try to be like artistic and like, with it sometimes. So, but yeah, drop in the comments if you're part of Replay Crew for the first one. So we'll call it lawsuit. We'll call it Casita. So for the Casita lawsuit, do you side with Benito? Are you team Benito? Or are you team Romero? Is it Don Romero, Don Román? And then for the second one, are you team Manette Phillips, or are you team Benito? Are you team the Afrobeats guy who's basically saying like, pay me for my sample beat? And he's been, I mean, to his like, I mean, he's been trying to do it since 2023. He spent 2 years trying to settle, and that didn't work. And now, so part of me is like, but like I said, just being rep by Sarah Moses, I'm like, so I'm team Benito on the second one. On the third one is, are you team Benito and Reggaeton, or are you team uh what is it, Brown and Steely? Oh yeah, Jane, yeah, you could stay and just watch it. At least it wasn't Ezra, but it is a small, small world, like with all these lawsuits. But stay tuned tomorrow. We have a really good episode because I like I said, I wanted to report on all the stuff that happened last week with Blake, but I felt like you guys already heard it because everyone covered it. All the other creators already covered it. And I don't know if you guys want my opinion on it, I'll cover. Basically, it's the tea that Perez Hilton spilled, which he did like give me a little cess back in there when that tea spilled that he's seen Taylor Swift's text. And then the other one was the Steve Sarowitz tea that spilled with the recording. So let me know if you guys want me to cover all that, and if y'all want to hear my opinions or anything on that, because I missed all of that. But this week, what I have planned for you guys is updates on Spencer Pratt. That thing got really, really juicy. The Kevin Costner lawsuit, super, super juicy. And somebody had asked me, I don't know if it was Busy or Mercurial, one of y'all, it might have been Mercurial. Somebody asked me, might have been Jane, if I could get the amended complaint from Devin LaBelle, her amended complaint, and I got it. I finally, oh, Miley says, I always want to hear your opinion. But yeah, I don't know if it was Jane or if it was, somebody said that they wanted that amended complaint. So I finally found it, and I got the full docket and everything. So it's going to be like, it's going to be so fun to go over the Kevin Costner stuff because she's wilding, y'all. She is wilding out. I'm back to being Team Kevin. I know I've been flip flopping. I think the last we heard I was Team Kevin, but now I'm really Team Kevin. Oh, Mercurial said it wasn't her, but she's excited. Hear, hear. So anyways, yes, I will let you guys go because we're already past the hour. But you guys, we have some fun shows planned, and then Crime Chatter will be on Sunday. Tomorrow night, Sunday night, tomorrow night, I kind of wanted to do a sports chatter episode. So y'all let me know if you guys want to do something tomorrow night with the sports chatter, because there's some crazy lawsuits going on in the sports world that are kind of insane that I wanted to get into as well. I just need to know if Kevin was on set. Yes, he was. He was on set. It's just it gets crazy. I might do that one tomorrow. I was gonna do Spencer tomorrow, but I might just go ahead and do Kevin tomorrow. Um, yeah, because it got a little spicy there. So thank you guys for coming for the Bad Bunny episode. I really, really appreciate it. It was one of my Roman empires. Like I said, I love music, and long live reggaeton. See you guys on the next one. Take care.